It's Women Talk Live with April J., Sassy Scribe, and Tyra Hill.
Women Talk Live. Women Talk Live. Women Talk Live. Women Talk. Women Talk Live. Women Talk Live. Women Talk
to Women's Talk Live. I'm your girl, April J. And on today's show, we have the author of Redwood, the book, and real estate developer, which is where I met you from, Rod Womack.
Welcome, Rod.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, see, wait a minute. I'll say this real quick.
Okay.
You know Rod as a real estate developer.
Yes.
But we went to school together.
Yeah, no,
So
he did tell me.
It's a small world.
It is
It really is a small world.
Small world.
And we're both authors now. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, Baltimore's not a big city.
It's a what is it? It's a big city but a small town.
It's very small. It's definitely
Small to more. That's what we call it.
Right.
Small to more.
That's the nickname.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's better than Bodymore, Murderland. I mean,
Or be more careful.
Or be more careful. Or the city that reads.
Yeah, okay. All right, on that note, we're going to be talking about the MeToo movement, which has been going on since last year, 1 year ago.
Well, it became known last year.
Yeah,
It's been 10 years.
It's been 10 years, right?
Exactly.
Alyssa Milano made it known for non-melanated females, and we're going to talk about that
too.
too.
All right. So don't go anywhere. We have more Women's Talk Live coming up next. And welcome back to Women's Talk Live. Before we left, we wanted to talk about the Me Too movement. Now, like you said, Sassy, that it has been going on for 10 years, actually.
Right.
But I think it really kind of came to the forefront. And you said Melissa Milano. I kind of thought it was Megyn Kelly.
No, it was Melissa Milano said something in October of 2017. And she put this huge, long Twitter posting, and it made like I said, our counterparts, our non-melanated counterparts, aware of it. But Tarana Burke actually started it, and when she started it, it was for women of color to give them a voice that had been sexually harassed and raped and molested. So it was the hashtag, the Me Too movement. It's been around for years. It was just never utilized. And then when Alyssa Milano came along, she took it and ran with it because she had a base and a voice, and that's where we learned about Me Too. So it's unfortunate.
I mean, I did know about it from 10 years ago, but I think it really became relevant where I thought was when Megyn Kelly went through the stuff with Fox, and all that stuff started coming out with Fox.
Oh, okay.
So with Roger Ailes and all that stuff. So because she had went through where she had been sexually harassed, and then
when she was the only one that came forward, I bet you the majority of the women at that network are being harassed in some way, shape, or form. I really do.
Right, because I think she wasn't the only one. There was other women that ended up coming forward too. And it was like accepted culture at Fox News. So I was just like,
but I think it's accepted culture, unfortunately, at other locations. Like you hear the women coming out now about Silicon Valley, which is, I mean, let's face it, tech really is male dominated. And women can't really speak out without, you can be blacklisted and blackballed in any industry. It's not just in Hollywood. It's in any industry, and I think that women now are feeling empowered. Y'all not gonna like what I'm about to say. I think they're feeling empowered to come forward, but I think some of them also were consensual in what they were doing, and now it's buyer's remorse that they're beginning to talk about these individuals. So,
go ahead.
I definitely agree. I mean, and I'm not saying every situation.
No, I'm not saying that.
I agree with you that there's some, as you put it, buyer's remorse, and some of those close encounters.
Yes.
And it, like you said, it happens in all industries, and it's been going on for a long, long time. I worked in government for a while, And needless to say, I have seen some stuff.
I believe
and it's not just to entertainment. You have it in politics. You have some of these politicians.
You have
You
it in the
have a
service
lot of-
industry. These
You have
waiters.
it- you have
Yes.
it in churches, in schools, in communities.
Don't talk about the church, girl. People gonna
Anytime
talk about the church.
anytime you have people who are in positions of power,
Yes,
and you have people who are in subordinate situations,
Yes.
it's going to happen, and that's just the bottom line. I think that it's been happening for not hundreds of years.
Yes.
I think it's been happening for hundreds and hundreds of years. I think that it's fascinating, interesting. And I think powerful that at this moment in history that women are finally getting the chance to stand up and have a voice against it.
Well, you're absolutely right when you say it's been happening for hundreds of years.
Yes.
Let's go back to our ancestors and to the slave.
Right.
I mean, how many of our big mamas or Medeas or aunts or
Exactly.
moms have been physically assaulted by the slave owner or the slave master? So yes, it's been going on for years, but I really want to congratulate all of the sisters who took to Twitter,
Yes.
who let it be known that Tarana Burke is the founder of the hashtag MeToo. And so when we see it constantly happen in the industry, I came up in the music industry. I would write, produce, sing, and so it was always the producers whom would say, well, if you let me take you out to dinner, you would have this opportunity, or I'll introduce you to that. And unfortunately, I fell for it a few times. You know what I'm saying? But you don't realize what's going on until it's kind of too late. Until you're saying, wait a minute. Did he just...
Right.
Did I just allow him? You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so, at some point as women, we have to take responsibility for what is happening to us or what people are trying to do to us. Right. I'm not saying in no way, shape, form, or fashion that there aren't victims out there like we've all said, because I know several. But what I'm saying is when you choose your career over prosecuting someone who has violated you, someone who has disrespected you, you've then chosen your career over self.
So you put money over principle.
Absolutely.
But then there are some women who, and especially in these service industries, who at the end of the day just don't have a choice in that matter. They have to, in order to feed their children, they have to kind of put up with it.
And it's unfortunate that we have restaurant chains with names that reference certain body parts of women.
Right.
You know what I mean? And these women work there, and they think when the millennials, they think it's cute and fun. But as they get older, then they realize that some things just aren't right. You shouldn't be touched when you're serving lunch or dinner, whatever it is that they serve in these places. But you should be able to go to work, not be objectified, and feel safe, and be able to talk to somebody and not feel judged. And I think that's the problem that we're having now.
So I have a question for you ladies. I want to know, and I think a lot of men out here want to know. I think part of this conversation was an important conversation to have around Me Too. I think a lot of men want to know, where the line is. What happens through this Me Too movement, I think one of the unfortunate byproducts of it for a lot of men, because we've had these conversations, is wondering, okay, so it is absolute fact that there are men who have abused power. I think the Bill O'Reilly situation is what opened it up for me. When I saw what happened to him, and they tried to cover it up at Fox and $32 million, they paid off people. So that's kind of what, and then of course, Bill Cosby just before that. But I think what has made it real fuzzy for a lot of men, whether they be men of power or maybe not even, men who are in a power play position. Maybe they just trying to explore a new relationship. Right? Where's the line? That what men are trying to find out and understand, especially in a workplace, because let's understand a lot of relationships, right,
start from work
in the workplace. That's true. Right? So if we're in the workplace, and let's say I'm just a coworker, I'm not the boss, I don't have a position of power. Where can we begin that situation where I don't feel like now I'm gonna be on a MeToo hashtag.
Well, I think that I'm going to look at it because I joke with a lot of my coworkers, my male coworkers, and I think they know the women that they can safely have conversations and fun with, as opposed to women who don't. And you can gauge their attitude based on certain, there's always some type of political conversation going on. So if they're overly conservative, you're not joking with people like that because they don't understand that it's just a joke. You can't touch her on her shoulder, or you can't look and say, "Oh my goodness, you look really nice today," or "That color looks great on you. It brings out your eyes." You can't say that. I do too, but some women don't like it. They bristle
Well, you
at the
can't-
fact where.
When is it not okay for a woman to receive a compliment? When is it not? And because that's my personality as a woman. Black man, you wearing that suit. Oh, brother, you look. Oh, you smell good. That's my personality. But now I have to be extra careful too.
Exactly.
Because men get sexually harassed just like women. But to answer your question, there's such a fine line. There's a thin line. There's a thin line, and I agree with what Sassy said. You will know who you can compliment and who you can't, but it's dangerous territory because not only is it dangerous to compliment someone, it's extremely dangerous to say, "I like those shoes." Or your hair is pretty, or even be in a room privately with someone, and now if you're getting accused, there is no witness. There is you're innocent until proven guilty. Your life is being stripped away, and it's crazy. I don't like that part of it.
I don't. People are losing their lives. Some people are losing their lives and their jobs for he hugged me too close. Oh, when he pecked me on the cheek, it was for too long. I'm like, some of it is pure ridiculousness. Some of it is ridiculousness.
But I call sweetheart or honey
or babe.
I had a conversation with someone. They were saying that that they were, they had someone who was, kind of a celebrity.
Yes.
And he was like, they were doing something, she had did something, she handled. He's like, "Oh, thank you, sweetheart." And he said, and then he said, he paused and he's like, "I'm sorry." And then she was just like, "Listen, it's don't worry, it's
But he did the right thing though because he didn't know.
And it's kind of like men are now like second, like, okay, wait a minute, because like you said, if somebody accuses, like, what can you do?
What we don't want to do is try and eliminate women in the workforce, which is what some people are calling for, to not hire women. So then we go on to this, and I think we'll come back with the patriarchal society that we could be getting into, like that Handmaid's Tale type of thing, because it's horrible. But we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come right back and we can continue this conversation.
Good conversation.
What? I'm comfortable.
And welcome back to Women's Talk Live. The off-air conversations are just save it for
We're about to show you.
Wait a minute, let's wait. But I want to kind of bring in a little bit what's called rape culture. And the reason why I brought this in, one morning, because usually when I go to work in the morning, I listen to The Breakfast Club. And Charlamagne the God was giving himself Donkey of the Day. And he was saying the reason why was because he never got the full understanding what rape culture was. He thought it was like, well, you know what, I never raped a woman, I never, you know, so he didn't realize exactly what the meaning of it was. So he kind of broke it down a little bit. So I'm going to give you just a little overview of what he was talking about. He said if you, I think, well, panel, we kind of grew up, you know, in the 80s, early 80s, going into 90s. And if you know, if you remember, there were movies where, you know, there were these guys that were doing
Porky's is one that was very much of a rape culture type.
Or you know, where guys were kind of like looking at women and
peeping through the bathroom holes and stuff.
Revenge of the Nerds. Yes.
Panty raids
I thought that was normal.
But it's part of the rape culture. I understand it now.
Boys would do that.
Exactly, but it was because that's where rape culture starts.
Okay.
And it doesn't mean as far as you raping a woman, it's just saying that you're victimizing a woman through watching these things, through like going to these little parties and where you would just hit a woman on the behind, or you know, and felt it was acceptable to do that.
And see,
are your college days coming down?
Here's the thing: you're thinking college, you're thinking 80s. I literally just had this happen to me a few months ago when I can't remember where I was, but I went out. And as I was walking through the nightclub, a guy smacked my butt.
Right.
And
well, it goes on. It's
and my first thing to him was, you don't know me.
Y'all gotta see that in the eye.
Right, like,
look in the camera.
You don't know me. And I had to explain to this young man, I'm not like her. You don't get the right to violate me and touch me unless I invite you to come and touch me. Now here's where it gets crazy. He wanted to go toe to toe with me. And security was like, you don't know who this is? And I said, don't tell him who I am. You don't get the right to touch me. You just violated me. You don't know who I'm in here with. My husband could be in here. My security guards could be in here. Then it could have just got ugly. So I literally had to just stop my anger and explain it to him. What you did was not only disrespectful, you violated me as a woman. You just sexually assaulted me.
When you said he wanted to go toe to toe with
he wanted to fight, and he called me a couple of B's.
Really?
Yes, and I literally had to stop myself.
Because this is something that generations and generations that has been accepted. If you look at what was the Rough Shaker?
Yeah.
Where the women in the video, like they
all they want to do.
Exactly. Or like you said,
doing the butt.
So
freak Nick.
So with this rape culture, let's talk about something, because that's a good point.
It is a great
Rough
point.
Shaker. I'm saying to you that none of those women were forced to be in the videos, were forced to be a part of it.
What we have to understand, it's seductive. Hollywood is a seductive lifestyle.
But then how do we take responsibility for everybody's actions? Like, you helped put that young man on point. You should have put him on point.
Right.
Okay? My point is this, though. In some situations, women are just as equally guilty, I think.
Right. We're not saying it's not. That's what I said earlier.
How do we give that a rape? Rape is offensive. Yeah. Rape is criminal, and it's one-sided. There's no person conceding.
But if you look at everything, that they put out, everything that we see visually in our television screen, every commercial has a half-naked woman selling a car, hot dogs, sun tanning lotion. It's always something with a woman that's half naked.
But we know
sex. Yeah, but what are we showing the children when we do that?
Is it okay for sex? So then my question to you is this: is it okay, like on commercials on TV, for sexy to sell? And is there a difference between sexy and sex?
Yes, it is. It's an absolute difference, because now you can't watch a television show without profanity. I'm not talking cable. I'm talking regular TV shows without profanity, without same sex, and I have nothing against same sex anything.
Right.
But you have some people who don't want that in their homes. So you have some things that are overtly pervasive now. It's not. It used to be very, very subtle. Like Lucy and Ricky slept in twin beds, yet they had little Ricky. How did that happen? How did they get together?
Right.
Well, now you got mom and dad sleeping in the bed. You wake up, the children is on one side, the dog's on the other side. So you got all this co-sleeping and co-parenting. I mean, co-sleeping that the kids are doing now. So they see different things. Things are so different. It's in your face.
Well, and just on TV or on the radio. And one of the questions you asked, how can we change it?
Yes.
So I just put something on my social media yesterday that said, tell her who she is, not what she looks like. With our young girls, princess. Hey, beautiful. Hey, princess. Okay, that's what she looks like.
Right.
But who is she as a little girl? She's strong. She's resilient. She's intelligent. We start educating our girls. And not just our girls. Our boys. I have a son. And I was just joking that I am the only female in the house of 3 males. And so sometimes I find it difficult because even with my husband, we just had this conversation, David and I, sometimes I call my husband a womanizer. Now when I say it, he's not really a womanizer. And this is what I mean by it. My husband will smack my booty all day long if he's off work. If I'm in the kitchen washing dishes, if I'm washing laundry, all day long. So I have to say, stop! I'm not a piece of meat. And he's like, well, babe. But he wasn't taught that. So now I'm trying to teach my husband how to handle me. See, and I had to explain.
Teaching an old dog new tricks.
Right, but hold on. I had to explain to him. Because we have to have a real conversation. See, people not having real conversations. While I was in junior high or elementary, junior high, high school, all the boys used to do was run down the hall and smack my booty. Because I always had a big booty.
But in junior high and high school, we laughed it off as love taps. Or that he liked you.
Not me. I literally stabbed a boy in the head with a pencil for smacking my booty. Because I got tired of it.
3 years.
She got felonies.
Now that I think about it, I could have went to jail.
Right.
We was actually on the bus
Now
coming
you
from
would
Augusta.
be expelled from school.
But he kept smacking my booty. And I kept asking him to stop and he wouldn't. And the last resort for me was I took a pencil and I stabbed him in his head with it.
So to bring that full circle to his point, what else do you say? What do you say to your son in like 30 seconds of life? What do you say to him?
I tell my son, just because you have a wife, a girlfriend, whatever, you still have to respect her as a person. You wouldn't want me coming up to you grabbing your penis every day, all day.
I don't know.
Well, some men like that.
And there's some women who want their booty
Well, not
spanked on
me.
the
I'm just not that chick. Some women I can
But see, some women don't get that validation. To them, that's a validation.
No, you can't validate me like that.
You can't validate you like that.
Right.
Some women need to know that they look.
And that's
You
what I
are
meant.
desirable to your husband, which is why he does it.
Right.
That's his way of showing that he loves you, he wants you, he sees you.
Self-validation.
You want to see him to do that to you in a different way.
Right.
Yeah.
Other women wish their husband would slap them.
Absolutely.
They
And
wish
And
them
so
to
that's
do
where the
that.
conversation came
But
in.
yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing about having open and honest conversation.
Absolutely.
You don't
Conversation
like
is
it?
important.
Say it.
Communication is important. You communicated to him what you wanted, and it is important. I think you make a very, very good point, Sassy. I think it comes down to individuals.
Right.
You know, and every individual is different, you know, and that's the way you want to deal with him. Now, I'm sure there's times when you don't mind that little spank.
No, I don't.
But you just don't want
All
to be
day, every
validated
day.
that way all
Right.
the time.
Like, and I explained to him, and let me tell you how I explained it to him. Instead of coming in the house smacking my booty that you so love, and I love too, give me a hug.
Right.
Hold me.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and he was like,
Even softer.
right, he was like, babe. I said, and then I might let you put your hand on my booty. You get what I'm saying? But it's those grown conversations. Because at the end of the day, yes, I'm his wife. But I am not his property. Yes, I will, my husband, our sex life is great. But I am still not his property. And so men need to understand that. Just because she's your wife, that does not mean she's your property. And you have to respect, because guess what? Even with me being in the kitchen, washing the dishes, it's a million things going through my mind.
So you saying hashtag me too?
Hashtag sometimes me too.
So she said hashtag me too, and then she said hashtag time's up.
Yeah, time's up. Time's up.
That's a great segue to end the show.
The V-Dip Power Station is a one-of-a-kind home exercise unit, revolutionizing and redefining home fitness. The unit is easy to assemble and offers an extensive list of exercises. Hook up resistance bands to add a variety of exercises to your routine. Lay the unit down to utilize a fully functional workout bench. Inspired by fitness legend Vince Gironda, the V-Dip Power Station has been granted a utility patent for its revolutionary structure.
Wow,
My shoulders are on fire.
show's on fire. You hear that? Amazing.
That's it.
Sick. That's it?
Are you ready to join the V-Dip Power movement?
V-Dip Power Movement.
And welcome back to Women's Talk Live. I mean, this has actually been a really
A great
good
show.
Yeah, I mean, with a lot of
Bring you back again.
I know.
Great conversation, great questions. I don't think we ever had anybody say, well, let me ask y'all a question.
We got the right one though. 'Cause I knew he would do it.
Right. So listen, this is actually a two-part show. So you know, Rod's gonna be with us. So we got more of this coming up next week.
Great.
Yeah, we'll talk about Auntie Oprah's speech.
Yeah, definitely, because we.
And the next segment.
Yeah, right. But I'm going to get into my final thought for this show. So, but please keep watching next week for the continuation. Because this is a big. But I wanted to give the final thought, and this is from Coretta Scott King. She said, "Struggle is a never-ending process. Freedom is never really won. You earn it, and you win it in every generation." All right, y'all. This is April J. for Women's Talk Live.
I'm Sassy Scribe.
And I'm Tyra Hill.
And thank you, Rod.
Thank
but
you.
you're going to stay with us.
You're going to stay with us for the next segment.
Right. So catch us for next week when we talk more about the Me Too movement. See y'all next time.